everyone, and welcome to Dungeons & Dragons News. How's it going? I'm Greg Tito. I am here to give you all the fun stuff that's happening in Dungeons & Dragons before throwing it to Mr. Chris Perkins and the rest of the fun Waffle Crew. They will be starting up their new episode at 4 p.m. today, so just in about a half an hour. I know they had a fun time at TwitchCon last weekend. Many of you were not able to see the thing. I know we're working on getting the video from Twitch right now and then posting it potentially onto our YouTube or within the collections here, maybe as a VOD or some kind of thing. But we're working on it. We know a lot of you didn't get to see it, so Chris is going to make sure to recap as much of what happened in that episode as possible and get it for you all, which should be really exciting. A lot of fun stuff happening in Dungeons & Dragons world. I don't know if you might have seen this, but there was an article in the New Yorker magazine published today online that's all about Dungeons & Dragons. It's a really good turn. You don't see D&D mentioned in the annals of the New Yorker very often. That was a magazine I used to like to read when I was in that city. I didn't pay for it. I got it from a banker who I worked for who just had a whole stack of them, and then he left the firm and kept getting a subscription, so I was able to read them, and they were quite good. But I loved their take on culture, especially what's happening in New York, and it's pretty cool that they're writing about Dungeons & Dragons, something I would have even imagined when I was reading them 10 years ago, 15 years ago in New York City. So cool stuff happening there. Really all about the benefits of Dungeons & Dragons, how you can playing, it helps all kinds of things, and how it helps you get offline unless a little bit more analog. And even if you're playing online with friends over video conferencing, you're still able to have an experience that isn't digital per se. You're still imagining and pretending with your friends. So the article just harkens back to all that. So I suggest you go check it out. It's good stuff. And I want to give a shout out to the author too, but let me make sure I figure out who that was before I do that. But anywho, more stuff happening in Dungeons & Dragons world. We've of course got episode 66 coming from Dice Camera Action today. Tomb of Annihilation is out now. They're playing through that storyline now in Dice Camera Action, which is pretty cool. There is also a new book that's coming out called Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That's coming on November 10th. That will have subclasses for all Dungeons & Dragons classes, new things you might not have seen before, some you might have seen in Unearthed Arcana, which is our column of playtest material. If you're not aware of that, go check it out on the Dungeons & Dragons website. Search for Unearthed Arcana, sorry. I'm pronouncing that a little bit crazily. But it's really cool what Xanathar's Guide to Everything brings to the table. D&D Beyond and Todd Kenrick have been doing videos with Mike Merles and Jeremy Crawford from the D&D team and about each one of those subclasses. So I suggest you check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. So that is coming on November 10th. It has an alternate cover, which I'm going to grab for you right now. If my lav doesn't fall off. All right, there we go. This is the alternate cover, designed by Hydro74. It is in gold and bright and Art Deco, and it is amazing. It is available only in game stores on November 10th. Same price, same content within the book. It just has a different cover. It's got a different kind of a feel, kind of a soft, kind of glossier feel, not the slick. What's that word called when something is slick? Not matte, but flat? I don't know. I'm making up words as I go along. But it is very cool. Again, you can only get it in game stores, and it's a great way for you to get something that's a little bit different than what a lot of the other people get, because they get it on November 21st. Everywhere else, the regular standard cover, which is also very cool and also features beholders and Xanathar himself looking at his goldfish. Very cool stuff. We've done a few Lori Shows on Dragon Talk. We record that Mondays, 2 p.m. Pacific time to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we talk about lore. We talk about creators who make stuff in Dungeons & Dragons all the time. We recorded 2 yesterday. One was with the director of Minions and Despicable 3, as well as someone who's got a slew of animation credits going back 25 years, Kyle Balda. It was a great conversation. Look for that on the VOD for Dragon Talk right now, and it'll come out in podcast form very soon. Speaking of podcasts, we have a whole bunch of new podcasts coming out this week. Today, Dragon Talks on the RSS feed, our conversation with Matthew Lillard went live, as well as lore about Candlekeep. We're also, Dice Camera Action fans, we're also releasing new episodes of Dice Camera Action ripped from the stream and put in audio form only. So if you want to listen to Dice Camera Action in your car, you won't have the benefit of the visuals, obviously, but a lot of the storytelling and the role-playing will all be there, and that is on our Dungeon Delve RSS feed. So we're starting just with Season 3, so episode 61 on. We have 61 is up right now, and then 62, 63, and 64 will all be uploaded this week, and we hope to catch up next week. And the plan is currently to release the last week's episode on a Monday. So, for example, the one we're recording today will release on Monday, so you can catch up in time to watch the Tuesday at 4 p.m. D&D stream of Dice Camera Action with the Waffle Crew. Sound like a plan? That sounds pretty cool, right? Go to Dungeon Delve to check it out. You can find it on our website, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, basically anywhere you get podcasts, you can download it there. We're working on getting out places like Stitcher and Spotify. If you know someone on Spotify who wants to get D&D podcasts on that service, let me know. I'm trying to find out how to do that. I think you have to kind of be asked in at this point, so let's get in the club. I want to be in the club. Let's make it happen. Cool. How are you guys doing in the chat? I'm not seeing anybody right now talking, but that could just be I wanted to refresh it. Oh, and I wanted to give a shout out to the New Yorker article. It's called The Uncanny Resurrection of Dungeons and Dragons by Nima Jerome. Just published this morning, 11:15 a.m. So check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. Oh, yes, you are there. Okay. Hi, guys. Hi, Feywild. Hi, Inez666. You have one of my favorite handles on Twitch. I don't know why. You are like a devil Inez. I love it very much. Speaking of cool things that you can only get if you watch and or listen to what's happening here in Dungeons & Dragons land, Loot Crate. You know Loot Crate, the service where you buy in a subscription and you get sent a box of really cool stuff. They have a bunch of different versions of their Loot Crate, including the Loot Crate XL, which had the awesome Demigorgon statue that some of you might have remember me talking about a few months ago. There is a Loot Crate item from their gaming box that is Dungeons & Dragons themed. It is, the theme for the month is Demon, and it is an item that you can use to play a whole bunch of different games with. I'm going to leave it at that. So go to if you're interested in finding out more about that, you can order it by this Friday, I believe at 9 p.m. Pacific time. If you order the gaming-themed Loot Crate, so it's not the regular Loot Crate, it's Gaming Crate, I think it might be called, or Loot Crate Gaming, something like that. If you use the code DND, that's letters DND, you will get 15% off your subscription for that first month and get the cool D&D item in the box, as well as a lot of other cool gaming stuff. So can't go wrong there. WizKids Tomb of Annihilation Adventure System game is out now. It is a physical board game. We just had Mr. Bart Carroll on the Dragon Plus thing talking about it. We talked to the lead designer just yesterday on Dragon Talk. That podcast will be coming out soon. Long time history with designing board games. He took that system and put his own spin on it. He was really excited to put a bard in there as well. Kevin Wilson is the name of the designer, and his name is now on the box, and it was one of his dreams, so it's pretty cool that he's got his name on a D&D box, on a D&D board game. Very, very cool about that. How are you guys doing out there? Okay, there's a couple people saying hello. Hey, what's up, Kodiak C. the Bear King? Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. That's why I subscribed to the D&D channel. No problem for there. Oh, and good. Pelham put the link into the Gaming Loot Crate right there in the chat, so you can see it, and you can buy it if you prefer. Don't forget, DND is the code there, so you can make it happen. Yes, Zerelt, I want to be in the Spotify club, too. I think it would be pretty cool. All right, so in addition to the WizKids Tomb of Annihilation Adventure System game, there is also a digital version of that game called Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation. It is on Steam right now. You can grab it. It's at a very low price point. It's a lot of fun. It's a way to play the adventure system game in a more single-player fashion, so you can go through all the scenarios, play as up to 4 different characters in there, including the bard, Birdsong, who is a tabaxi, artist Simber, who's a ranger, who's got the Ring of Winter, very powerful item, and does lots of fun stuff. And there's also the Ashara, who's an Aarakocra, as well as a Sorial by the name of Dragonbait. fun stuff there. You can use their different abilities to get through all the scenarios. There's a crafting mechanism, so you can replay everything at a higher difficulty if you get enough loot to craft better items to get you to go farther along. It's very challenging tactically. It's all about figuring out the right thing to do at any given moment. You don't want to necessarily go for the cool shiny things. You want to try and defeat the monsters as much as you can. A lot of a time limit. Very cool single player version of a tactical D&D board game. Check it out. Tales from Candlekeep. You can follow them at Tales Candlekeep, and we'll be showing a bunch of their live play of streaming that game later on this week. And that is coming. I'm going to put it on, see if it's on the list here. That is coming at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. So go check that out if you're interested. I think there also might be some VODs up of them playing the last few weeks. Extra Life is coming up very soon. That's November 3rd and 4th. We are raising money through Extra Life to raise money for Seattle Children's Hospital and children's hospitals across the country and the world even. If you're not familiar with Extra Life, it's this program that's going on for many years now where people play games for 24 hours. They've been playing a lot of video games, but a few years ago Dungeons & Dragons got into the mix and started playing 24 hours of Dungeons & Dragons. We're scaling back a little bit. We're not doing 24 hours, we're doing about 12. From our D&D team, we'll be in Madison, Wisconsin for Game Hole Con. They are going to be streaming a game there with Mike Merles, Chris Lindsay, Chris Perkins will be in that game. I believe Satine Phoenix or Rudy Rutenberg will also be in that game. That's kicking it off on November 3rd, and then November 4th, from the D&D offices here, I'll be kind of hosting, being the master of ceremonies, getting it to go from one game to the next. We're actually broadcasting a few games from here directly, and I'm playing one of those games with DM Lauren Urban as well as Trick Jarrett from the Magic community team. It's going to be tons of fun. We're all raising money for a good cause. There's tons of ways that you can donate to the cause. We all have Extra Life pages. You can donate a certain amount of money to say what kind of character I'm going to play, what class, give us funny stuff, give us boons that we might need, give us healing potions if we're going to need it, because it's going to be pretty brutal, if I remember, because it is through Tomb of Annihilation content. So we might need a little helping hand and or a hindering hand if you feel like being saucy and donating and saying, hey DM, throw this monster at them, that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. We're all in the same group playing for Dungeons & Dragons, so if you guys want to stream, feel free to do so. Join the Dungeons & Dragons group, and it all goes towards the same cause. We're unlocking things, previews from Xanathar's Guide to Everything as this goes on. A lot of those previews were a little bit late in coming, but they will be coming very soon, if not today, if not right now, Mr. Bart Carroll. I hope he's doing that right now, getting the table of contents up for all of you to see, so you know exactly what's happening in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And that threshold will continue to go up and up. There's a couple things you can purchase that will help add to that number. One of them is a t-shirt designed by Emmy Tanji. She designs all of the stuff you see from Dungeons & Dragons, basically. She designed this, she designed that, she designed this. She doesn't paint the actual art, so she does some art on her own, but she is the graphic designer that puts it all together, and including some of the other things. Although, you know, Shauna Wolf-Narciso, our art director, does a lot of the covers and things as well. But Emmy does everything else, including, you know, like this pride badge and this t-shirt and everything that you might see that has Dungeons & Dragons touch on it. So she did the awesome shirt. She's done all the Extra Life shirts in the past. Emmy Tanji has, and this one is no different. It's $25. There should be a link we can put in here. Do you have that link handy by any chance, Pelham? For how they can buy Extra Life t-shirts? He's going to put it in the chat so you can do that. I think they're $25. All of it goes towards Extra Life, other than the cost of the shirt, obviously. There's also, of course, the Tortle package that you can buy in the DMs Guild. Play as a turtle. They're anthropomorphic turtles. They are good people generally, and you can. It's a PDF that you can buy on the DMs Guild. It's $9.99. All of our proceeds that go from that would go to Wizards of the Coast go towards Extra Life from that thing. So go ahead and buy it. It was extra work that was done by the D&D team as a donation to you, the fans, and it's pretty cool, and it all will end up going to Seattle Children's Hospital. There's also, if you guys are fans of the One Grung Above show that Chris Lindsay has been doing here on the D&D channel, there is the One Grung Above PDF you can download that has everything you need to play as a Grung player character. It's basically the hacked version that Chris has put together from his play during the Stream of Annihilation, as well as this weekly stream that he's been doing on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Right? I can say that. Yes, 2 p.m., 2 to 4 p.m. is when one Grug and Bug is happening. I'll get to more of those shows in a little bit because I got more to talk about. Yeah, so for Extra Life, that whole day long time thing, we will be playing here. We have Encounter Roleplay is doing a session. As I said, Lauren Urban is doing a session. And then, of course, Sean Woods is playing Dungeons & Dragons as well. He'll be dungeon mastering for the first time, I believe, on a stream. So that should be pretty cool. Sean is one of our concept illustrators, and a lot of his art you might have seen in Force Grey. He does a lot of the character art for all that. It's pretty cool. I've been holding this for a while, so I'm going to take a drink. Watchful, the release date on Xanathars is November 10th in game stores and November 21st everywhere else. That was already answered by Milk Toast here in the chat, but I just want to make sure you knew what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. Guys, if we're coming in after episode 65, we apologize. The videos for that haven't been able to be surfaced yet. We're trying to contact Twitch, trying to get the actual physical videos of that. As soon as we have it, we will put that up on the YouTube page. But Mr. Chris Perkins is going to do as good of a recap of that session as possible and extend that. So if you're looking for that, that's what's happening. And I saw in here that some people were linking to the chat to find out exactly what happened, so that's pretty exciting. I mean the chat, I mean the Reddit page for what's happening there. Lore Maiden, thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. You are good people. Thank you for that. And Sam Spider-Man, I'm glad that you are here as ordered by your commander. I only imagine that's Commander Holly, so thank you for that, Commander. Who I can see her abode right now in the teleprompter, which is pretty cool. Did you guys know that we do that? We've been using a teleprompter as like the way for us to see the conferencing. It's a pretty cool idea. It basically makes it so you don't have to look at a different place from when the camera is. Excuse me, we'll have to show more of the behind the scenes of how we do it here at some point. I'm sure you guys will be interested in that. Yes, the Xanathar is the beholder shown on the cover of Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That only makes sense. We did a lore you should know on the Xanathar a couple of weeks ago, and it should be coming out in podcast form pretty soon. But if you search through the collections for Dragon Talk, you'll find out more about the Xanathar and what he is exactly. There may have been many Xanathars running the Thieves Guild below the streets of Waterdeep in Undermountain. And speaking of Waterdeep and Undermountain and the Xanathar, you guys should be playing Lords of Waterdeep. It's an awesome board game, analog, it's super cool, but they just released a new version in the last few months on Steam, as well as Android, and on a reboot of it, not reboot, but like a remake of it on the iPad or iOS versions, and it is pretty cool. It's a great board game. You can play through it cross-platform as Fallout. You can do it from different areas. It doesn't matter. If you're playing on the iPad, you can play people on Steam, that kind of thing, through the Play Deck interface. It's really fun. I had a great time with it. I still go. It's kind of like one of my go-tos. If I'm hanging out with my kids, I'll just play a few games of Lords of Waterdeep. Pretty cool. And it's rife with lore about the city as well as Forgotten Realms. So check it out. The Xanathar is one of the Lords of Waterdeep that you could potentially get in there. And all of this stuff has to do with it. So good stuff. Go check it out if you have not already. It's Lords of Waterdeep on Steam. That's right, Scarlet Moth, where you have to take down the Xanathar. That's right. You can play as him, or you can take him down. You can infiltrate the Thieves Guilds. Good stuff. I love how, because when I first played that board game, I wasn't as versed in the lore of Waterdeep as I am now here working at D&D. And so it's nice playing it now, kind of like as a resurgence again, and be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Hey, yeah, that's Halaster. I see Halaster, and I see, Merc the Moneylender was one of the first named characters that Ed Greenwood, the Father of the Realms, ever named in the Forgotten Realms. So he's famous for that alone, which is cool stuff. Speaking of the Xanathar, there is a WizKids Xanathar trophy that you can get. It is amazing. Actually, if you look on the D&D Twitter page, there's a picture of Matthew Lillard, the actor, having the Xanathar eat his face. It's a pretty cool thing. You can get it. It doesn't hang on the wall like the Red Dragon trophy plaques do, but it has hardware that lets you hang it in your game room. It's really cool. It looks just like the Xanathar that's on the cover of the Monster Manual from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So I suggest you check that out if you're interested in having the Xanathar be a big part of your life, because it is big. There's a lot of fun items coming from Hillary Ross, who is the licenser, who works with a lot of these people, so including Han Cholo Jewelry. I've talked about these a little bit. There is there's a pendant that has a beholder on it. It's a little bit pricey, but it's very, very cool. And a lot of other cool stuff, including a D&D ampersand pendant and a Claw of Tiamat pendant. So go check that out. It's under on hancholo.com and click on the officially licensed tab, and you can find out how to get some of that. There's also a cool D&D hat from Box Lunch. It's a retro style D&D hat, and also the Demogorgon jacket that I've been wearing like crazy is on ThinkGeek. It's kind of like a retro style 80s satin finished jacket. It says Dungeons and Dragons, kind of similar to this on the front, as well as a stylized Demogorgon thing on the back. And Stranger Things is coming out soon. Gosh, I can't believe that. I can't wait. I've been hearing really good things about season 2. I went back and watched the movies with Mikey on Stranger Things season 1. That made me very happy as well. So I'm excited. I can't wait for that. But there's lots of fun stuff going on in that world. Also coming from our licensor side of thing is translations. So Dice Camera Action fans who might be from different countries, we have a whole bunch of translations of 5th edition material on sale now in your countries. So in France, for example, in French, you can buy the Player's Handbook as well as the Monster Manual. The DMG will be shipping later on this month in French. Germany has the, in German, the Player's Handbook as well as the Monster Manual, and the DMG will be coming very soon. Spain, in Spanish, you can buy the PHB right now. The Monster Manual will be coming out, and the DMG will be coming in December. Very cool to have Spanish speakers be able to read Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition material in their own language. Italy has the PHB on sale, and the Monster Manual and DMG are coming in November and December. And Japanese will have the PHB, got shipped this month, and we'll have it out in Monster Manual and DMG also in November and December. And all of those are also working on the starter set as well, so people can get into it. Oh, did you guys get choppy for a second? You guys did it get a little bit choppy? Sorry about that. Am I a robot? Am I robot-y? I can hear myself be robot-y. Is it? I'm not sure what's happening, but we have our best wizards working on it right now. So that's, I don't know, that's just really cool stuff that we have a whole bunch of languages that you can, if you are a Dungeons & Dragons player, often people switch back and forth or translate to have English and their other, more native language ready to go, but now you can actually just read the Dungeons & Dragons translations in the language that you are perhaps the most comfortable in, and we'll be adding more and more to those as demand goes by. So look for them in your stores. If you can't find anything about it, go to Gale Force 9. They're the ones who are both publishing and translating this stuff, or at least organizing the translating, and it's really cool stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to announce more and more coming soon. Okay, good. It was just a one-time blip. Whew. But I am a replicant. I don't know if you guys know that or if it's okay for me to announce it, but when I see a turtle, I say, what's a turtle? Could you just say a tortoise? Anywho, I am Gregbot. Yes, Ross is playing a goblin. That's right. Ross is going to be joining this. Ross Donovan is joining this stream as a guest. He will be playing as a goblin, as he did in episode 65. He's now doing it again. Again, I know you guys didn't get to see as much of episode 65. We're working as hard as we can to get that video ready to go. Oh, Zerit, thank you so much. Zerilt, thank you so much for subscribing. You are a good person all around, and you get high fives. Bum, 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 bum. Speaking of which, you can all subscribe too. It's only $4.99. You don't have to watch any ads here on the D&D channel. You get awesome emotes, which we're adding to. I just saw a new batch, the Emmy Tanji just designed. Good stuff coming down the pipe as far as new emotes, and a badge, and ad-free viewing, and then we're going to add different tiers to that going forward. We're coming up with great ideas for that. But for right now, we just got the $4.99 version. Make it happen. More emotes, says Pelham. Thank you for that. And then, of course, there's my face. Okay. Hi, I love my face. I can't see it every day. It is very good. So I think it might be, we're going to go through the streaming schedule really quick, and then we're going to take a quick break, maybe play a little bit of ads, and then get right to Dice Camera Action, because I see all of their lovely faces as they are warming up next door with Chris Perkins as we speak. So real quick, today we've got the Dice Camera Action. Tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Right after this, we have Maze Arcana Sirens of the Realms. It's super cool. It's all female. They're all playing bards going through the Tomb of Annihilation storyline. Very, very fun. I suggest you stick around after this to check it out. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., High Rollers Dead Reckoning. DM Mark Holmes is running that crew through. They're playing as evil characters, which is different than their Uncharted territory. One Grung Above, tomorrow, we have a special guest star. Jim Zub is going to be joining One Grung Above tomorrow. He'll be playing as Minsk. That's right, the Ranger Minsk and Boo from the Baldur's Gate series, and then dramatized in the comic books that Jim Zub himself writes for Dungeons & Dragons and IDW. If you don't know who Jim Zub is, you will very soon. He's been writing a ton of stuff for Marvel, working on Avengers. He's got credits all across the comics world, and he's a great storyteller and a great guy, and I can't wait to see his take as Minsk, as Chris Lindsay and the rest of that gang integrate them into their grunginess, which is going to be pretty fun. Again, that's 3 p.m. That's 2 p.m. tomorrow. Maze Arcana Fury's Fate is following up that at 6 p.m. with DM Rudy Rutenberg. Thursday, we have 1 p.m. Codename Entertainment. We'll be talking about Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms at 1 p.m. Do you guys know what a Idle Champion is? They're really cool. You send them out on adventures, they kill monsters, they collect loot, it all happens in real time. It's one of those games you can kind of check in with a little bit and then come out later. Idle Champions is out now on Steam in early access. Go check it out. They're doing a cool Liar's Dice event very soon, if not right now, kind of a Halloween themed thing, because there's no Halloween analog type event in the Forgotten Realms, but they are doing Liar's Night, which is very interesting and fun, so go check that out. But you can watch them play that at 1 p.m. on Thursday. At 3 p.m., Destiny and Doom with Jack and Mika from Rooster Teeth and Friends. DM Lauren Urban is the Dungeon Master for Mika Burton, LeVar Burton's daughter. Dante Bosco, who is in Hook. He was one of the kids in Hook. Kryken and Jack Patillo, they just hit level 2, and they learned of the mysterious curse afflicting local bartenders, which they might have gotten from speaking to many of them. On Friday, we have Roll20 presents Tomb of Annihilation with Dungeon Master Adam Coble. He was awesome at Stream of Annihilation, a great role player, and he's leading a wonderful crew of Distracted Elf, Andrew Gillis, Dave the Human, and Blue Jay. Again, Tales from Candlekeep is at 5 p.m. on Friday. On Saturday, Encounter Roleplay is 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's Will Jones and Sid Shields. We had them on the podcast very recently. Go check that out in the annals of Dragon Talk. But they stop the action every once in a while and tell you all about what's happening and why they chose, why Will chose to do what he did as a Dungeon Master, which I think is a really cool idea. 6 p.m. is Heroes Graveyard with Trump and Koibu. They're playing through the amazing stuff of Tomb of Annihilation and maybe killing off a few characters and or players. On Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, Girls Guts Glory is back and they're streaming. They've been streaming for the last few weeks. It's amazing. I suggest you go check it out. They have a new Dungeon Master. They're all still playing in their wonderful costumes and wonderful accents. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to take off here, leave a little bit of a break so Chris can get set up, and then we'll get started with the Dice Camera Action in just a few minutes. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you very soon. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Greg Tito. If you want to find out about Dungeons & Dragons, go to @wizards_DND, or just go to dungeonsanddragons.com and you'll find out everything you need to know about this awesome hobby. Thanks, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.